Welcome back to the Jewel Exchange with Spit Gemz. Today we got a treat. I have not only one of the wittiest, slickest MCs in the game, but also a very good friend of mine, Rasheed Chappell. What's the deal, brother?
What up, Gemz? Salute.
Now, Rod, I mean, an introduction is not really needed for a brother such as yourself, man. You've got quite the catalog. You've worked with damn near everybody who's anybody in the industry. Now, I mean, you've not only done great things for your own career, but you've played a hand in the careers of a couple other people and helped them benefit from some of the knowledge and some of the mileage that you've put in with this game.
Nice.
But if I had to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
right, without telling me your name or telling me your occupation, who are you?
Oh man, I'm a father first. Just recently, in the past couple of years, I've really stepped into the role of being a son. I dealt with some issues at home that kind of I didn't always feel like that. I'm a big brother. I'm a friend. I'm someone who loves the art. Like I love it. I just love it. I can't really even put it into words how much the ability to create music has allowed me to see so much of myself, so much of the world, so much in other people. So I'm a lover of life, all aspects of it. I don't believe in having bad days because if it doesn't rain, how do you enjoy the sun? So I'm just someone who is thoroughly immersed in the living of life and the lessons that we learn every day. So that's
Wow.
Rashid.
That was beautiful, brother.
Thank
That was an incredible answer, man. Word up.
you.
Now, on this platform, on my show, I like to just start off with some of the tougher questions, some of the questions that, throughout my life I've had a great interest in and I've struggled with.
hmm
And I feel like this is a big part of who people are and why they create art and why they create the art they do. And that question would be, do you believe in God? And if you do, what does that mean to you?
I believe that every creation has a creator, right? So, you know, English isn't my first language, right? I don't know what my ancestral language would have been, so I don't even know if God is the word I would use. But I definitely believe that,
Right.
every creation has a creator. And just listening to some of the responses that people have for my music or the way certain music resonates with me that comes from a person from the other side of the world or who doesn't speak the same language and seeing how that we're all connected through these universal experiences of life, birth, death, right? I believe that we're all connected in a major way. And I think it's our goal to find those connections and realize, that there's a lot more in common than we have that are different. So I definitely believe in a higher power. I definitely believe that, sometimes through the music, I look at some of the things that I write and I'm like, yeah, I was just a conduit for that. That wasn't even me. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
was just that just came through me. I was just a,
I've certainly felt like that
yeah,
before, brother.
absolutely. Yeah, so it sometimes like we have rapper egos, so it's we know when we're talking, our shit, and then there's sometimes where we just turn around and we're like, yo, like where did that come from? And you're just a vessel, and the goal is to try to be as open as possible to always receive those things. But yeah, definitely 100%. I didn't make me. You know, uh, I made me, but the makeup of me didn't come from me.
Hmm. Very well said. Very well said. Now, I'm a avid reader. I'm
Yes,
I'm a lover of literature.
yes.
It's my go-to thing. What is something you've come across, a piece of literature? It doesn't necessarily have to be any genre of literature, anything. This could have been something you read in the back of the source one time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Anything at all, though. A piece of literature that you would either reference or even suggest to somebody because it had an impact on you.
I mean, I'm looking at a bookcase here. I'm looking at some more books over there. I'm a reader as well. You know, my lady just ordered a book, the ISIS papers that I read many years ago. But a light read that I read that I still reference back to Steve Farber. He wrote this book called The Radical Leap, and like you could read it in a day. It's probably 200 pages, right?
Okay.
It talks about the presence of leadership and the absence of leadership, right? How you have to step up when this thing that was in front of you that was guiding the ship is no longer there. And it tells you to realize that, you should have been taking notes. You should have been learning the lessons because it's all there for you. That it's always not going to be a captain at the ship. You have to be the captain. It was a great book that I read like maybe 10 years ago, but I still reference back to that book. So if anybody wants to, Steve Farber, dope book, quick, easy read. If you got it, if you're in the New York area, if you're on a train, you can start it on your way to work and you can finish it on your way home. It's easy.
Awesome. Thank you
Yeah,
for that, brother.
no
Appreciate
doubt,
that.
no doubt.
I will certainly check that out myself. I
Yeah,
haven't come across
quick,
that one.
quick read.
Some of the best ones are, though, some of
Yeah.
the greatest pieces of literature. There's a book called, I'm sure you're familiar with it, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what, 82 pages, that entire book.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's dense. It's dense, in that short space.
Yeah.
Appreciate that though, brother. Let's get into some of the music, man. Let's get
Let's
into some of the music.
let's go.
You made a project shouting out my hometown Queens, and I was feeling this. I was feeling this. It's called 15 Minutes in Queens with a brother named Rec Real.
Yeah, yeah.
Dope producer, by the way. I was just he came up in another interview just recently as well. He's got some shit, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out the son. Tell me about that whole thing though, man. How 15 Minutes in Queens came about.
You know what's so crazy? So Rec, he recently moved to Long Island, but he was in Queens for the longest, and so Rec and I did a did a compilation album. He reached out to me. I did a track for the compilation album. We had good chemistry. He reached out to me. He wanted to do a project, and so we got together. This is during the pandemic, and we actually recorded this project. Right, we recorded a whole nother project aside from 15 Minutes in Queens. And at this time, I began, I think, working with 38 Special at that time. And Buck Wild and I had started doing our project. So I'm at Rec's house. This is like my studio now. This is where I go to.
That's Saints and Sinners you're working on with Buck
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
time.
Sinners and Saints, absolutely. So I'm
Oh,
working
Sinners
on,
and Saints, excuse me.
no problem. We're working with Buck, boom, 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 bringing Buck over. He's like, oh my, Buck is, an idol to a lot of producers. And so we just vibing.
Absolutely.
And so I'm knocking out features for people, a bunch of stuff. And during this time, Rec and I had finished our album. And then he had been sending me beats. And so, I would I'm the type of person, I don't like to listen unless I'm gonna write it. So he would send a beat. I would see he had sent me a beat, and I would kind of give it a quick listen and then tuck it away. And so this one particular night, we were doing a feature for somebody, I forget, and I was like, play me one of the beats that you've been sending me, man. Like, I feel bad. I've been coming over here knocking out all these other features. Play me one of the beats.
Yeah.
And he played what I think was the first record, and I wrote it, and I was like, okay, this is dope. And then spit it, recorded it. I'm like, play me something else because you sent me a couple, and he played me another one, and I wrote it, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna come. You got more? And he's like, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna come back tomorrow, and I think I came back either tomorrow, the next day, or the day after, and then we did like one, and then we did like the fourth record, and I was like, how long is this right now? And he was like, it's like third. I was like, we're gonna call this 15 Minutes in Queens. I'm gonna do one more. We're gonna make it 15 minutes long, because after every session we would go to Mama's on Northern, and we were just running around Queens, and it was like, yo, this is what happens in 15
You
minutes.
talking about the empanada spot?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
no doubt. No,
Yeah,
shout
question
out
for
to Mama's
Pio.
Empanadas,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely. So,
Yikes.
we, it was just a good energy. Like I spoke to Rec maybe 2 weeks ago, just telling them how much came from those sessions and how much work I put in at that time that really kind of like pushed my career forward, because we would go down to the basement and we would just write. Like it was cathartic. It was therapy. It was a lot that was going on at that time in my life. Going through a divorce, like a lot of shit was going on, and so it was just like going down to that basement and just finding that thing that grounds me, which is the music. That's always been like the compass in my life. It shows me the direction of where shit is headed. And yeah, it was fire. You know, like Rec is my guy to this day. Like, yo, I got to send it. Like that's my guy, 100%.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
Amazing. He's a great producer, and you guys certainly have a great chemistry
thank you.
on that joint together, man. You've worked with, I mean, you obviously you like completing total albums with one producer. You like it to be uniform.
Yeah.
You've done this with legendary people, man. Kenny Dope, Buck Wild. You've also done this with some of the newer cats, Archetype, Rec Real. But this is your go-to though, right? You prefer this over just grabbing a beat here, grabbing a beat there, collecting them all, and does it make more sense? What is the driving factor behind that?
Um, you know, there's a school of thought. Like if we go back to the early days, like it was a producer and an MC, Eric B. Rakim, Bomb Squad, PE, Tribe was in house, EPMD was in house. You know, it kind of allows you to get a complete thought out. You know, and it really tests a producer too. You know, like I mean, we could talk about the current um, situation or the current energy in the game right now. A lot of producers, I'm not sure if it's the producer themselves or the artist not having range. A lot of this stuff sounds like it's an album, but it's 11 of the same songs or 10 of the same songs,
Right,
same
right,
energy, same concept, same just the same. So I like to find someone who I think is versatile enough that we can have a complete thought, right? Because an album should be a conversation. An album should be a movie, even if there's not a theme, but a beginning, middle, and end. At least highs, lows, ebbs, flows. Like it should take you kind of on that journey. So when I lock in, and I learned a lot of this working with Kenny, like you said, definitely a legend, somebody that has worked with a Grammy award winning artist and shit like that.
indeed.
So coming from that school and listening to him and DJ Scratch and Jazzy Jeff and just kind of learning under that tutelage, like the album should be a complete thought. And when I'm locking in with one producer, I get to hear where we are. I get to challenge myself to not kind of get caught up in that, because you find a pocket. All right, let's go over here. And then we go over here. Okay, we got that. Now we're listening for what's missing. And it just kind of creates a synergy because we're locked in. We're working on the same project together, because you record vocals here. It could be the same mic, but it might sound different because the room is different. So it's all
Right.
those different things that factor in. And I prefer to lock in one on one. I did the project with uh, XP, and we used different producers. That was dope. Just kind of fitting the pieces together. But for me, like to sit down and it's like, yeah, we're gonna lock in, and we lock in, and we knock out some fire. Like that's dope to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I both methods can work out fine, but I tend to find as of lately that working with one producer and getting that, like you said, that complete thought out is beautiful, man. Indeed. Now, yo, the first song that caught my attention from you, and it's still my favorite Rasheed Chappell song to this day,
Okay.
is the joint called Break Loose from '12. That was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kenny Dope,
Mm-hmm.
DJ Scratch.
Moving debonair and I have no peer. Stand alone, command the tone, demand the throne. Lay down the gauntlet, the hammer's thrown. To nail your coffin, proceed with caution. Cool cat, daddy, better hold your girlfriend. Birth for your style, now I watch your world in. Curse to the now. About to
Just got all the elements in it, man. And I had heard your name prior to that, and somebody had told me about you actually, a mutual friend. I forget who it is now. Forgive me. But somebody had put your name in my ear, and I went seeking for your music. Like I went looking, like, yo, let me check. And that was like the joint I came across. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, this shit is ill right here, son. Cause you could feel all the different elements in that joint, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, just a beautiful song, man. And after that, though, right? You took a bit of a hiatus
yeah,
for a minute,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
figuring yourself out. When you came back, though, you have not stopped since. You just
Facts.
been knocking joint after joint after joint out. You're on a roll, brother.
Thank you.
Talk to me about the new video that's out, Tour Bus, and featuring 38 Special and Shay Noir. That's a Buck Wild joint.
This money, we gotta get it. Nobody out here promised tomorrow. My nigga live it. Yo, the corners is where we huddled up. Dealers and loyal customers. Shooters keeping the Ruger truck. Double dutching from officers. This life offered us nothing, and so we gave it back. Was just a baby with Reagan. That's when they gave us crack. That's when they gave us
You
crack.
decided to put that video out now. That's a special song, right?
Well, it's funny you say that. Like, I put the video out because I found it. I forgot we shot it.
Really?
Like I shot the video. We shot the video. Salute to Sars Coleman. We shot the video when we did the Sinners and Saints album, and I thought it was on a hard drive that I lost. And so I'm going through my phone, I'm deleting stuff, I'm going through my phone. I was like, oh shit, I got this video. I was like, I'm gonna drop this on Throwback Thursday. Like it was as simple as that. It was there was no plan, no rhyme, no reason to it. I was like,
No
oh shit,
doubt.
I found this video. I forgot that I had this. I thought I had lost it on this hard drive. And yeah, I just put it out. We did that salute to Kat McBride. She was there taking photos. My man Hill, Buck Spesh, and we was just I forgot I think we recorded something else that day, but we just kind of gave a glimpse into kind of like what it's like at the Trust Studio, and yeah, there was no thought behind it. It was just like, oh shit, I found this old video. Tomorrow is Thursday. I'll put it out for Throwback Thursday. Like that was it.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's
Video is dope though, brother.
thank you.
Definitely captures the aura of the song, you know what I'm saying? And gives the feel of a certain process. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Shit is real dope, man.
thank you.
Yo, Sugar Bills,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I
Excellent
think
project, bro. The
I think it's
artwork.
I think it's back here somewhere. There you go, right there.
Okay, there you
Yeah.
go. Yes, sir. That artwork is official, man. That's a beautiful image right there, man.
Thank
Who did
you.
that artwork?
I can't tell you. He wants to remain anonymous, but it's definitely somebody very close to the process. It was somebody that is very intimately tied into the project, and it was
Wow.
their first cover actually, first time them doing a cover.
He wants to keep this amazing hidden talent hidden,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because that's not necessarily his forte. I mean, obviously they're very talented at it, but they don't want
It's
to kind of
clearly his forte.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't want to branch off into that right there.
That's a fit. Yo, that shit is dope, man. That's what's up, man. Good on him, man. He doesn't even need the credit, man, but he blessed you with that one, certainly.
Yeah.
Yo, there's a song on there. You say something very important, right? Now, the title of this song, if someone was to stumble upon it, they may misunderstand the title of this song or have different thoughts about what comes with the title. The
Okay.
title of the song is Lucifer in the Candlelight,
Yeah.
right? And you say something real deep on this song. You know the price of a soul, the weight of a man to make him turn on his own. Talk to me about this line because this speaks to me greatly, without a doubt.
The line is actually to make him turn from his home, right? Like
To
so.
make him turn from his home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I heard it as turn on his own, and I went and looked for the lyrics. I couldn't find them. Maybe you know what I mean. Y'all keeping that. Y'all not letting that out the bag like that.
I mean,
But
it's the same sentiment though, right? Like like
indeed,
to
indeed, your home
make
is your own.
yes, yeah, so to it like it's a weight on us, man. Like I don't think people who are not creatives and I'm talking about in any form of fashion, because I went down this rabbit hole maybe about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and just looking at the parallels between specifically us rappers and comedians, right? Because we do the same thing. We memorize
Right,
these lines, right? We get in front of a crowd. Most of the time, these lines are coming from some type of trauma, and we're seeking this sort of validation from this crowd. We say we don't. No, I've evolved, I've healed past that. But there is a certain sense of validation that we get from somebody that we respect, such as a Spit Gemz, fucking reciting one of your lines. You know, there's a validation that we get from walking into a room of people who we know maybe 10 may have heard our name, but we win them over with the shit that we say. And it's coming from our truth. And so, you know, it carries a lot, you know, for those of us who have families, you know, they may sometimes think that it's neglect, you know, and I would often tell, you know, my ex-wife, I would love to go to sleep. Like that would be, I'm actually tired, but I have to write this rhyme. It's bigger than me. It's not even for me. It's not even for me,
Indeed.
you know. So I
Indeed.
would, you know, or, you know, to tell, you know, your child, like, okay, you know, yes, you come home from school and we have some time and then we go to bed and now the weekend is here, but I got to go to the studio for 4 or 5 hours, or to bring, because I would bring my kids with me to the studio, to bring them and have them there just to kind of see the process, hoping that they would understand that this is something that has to come out, you know. But at the time they probably want to go to the park, they probably want to do something else, but it is a burden, and you kind of have to, you know, go like Superman. He could take on the world, but he needed, like, you know, the fortress of solitude. Like he needed to kind of be alone too. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's a very exposing. It's a very vulnerable thing to put your thoughts, your feelings on a piece of paper. And sometimes, you know, those people that you want to come along with you, they can't come. You know, you know, it's not their ride, it's not their journey. You know, and to come to the realization that, you know, no matter what we think we do as parents, our only real job is to bring them into the world, because they have a purpose. They got something else that they got to do. You know, as much as we try to shape, mold, and like your only job was to bring them here. And you know, you still have to live your life, and you still have to, you know, as a creative, it is a lot. It takes a toll on relationships, personal, private, professional. And it's like, yeah, sometimes you got to turn your back and, you know, to create a new home, or to bring the legacy of that home with you, you know. So it's a lot.
Indeed. Indeed. Well said too, brother. I can certainly relate. On that song Tour Bus, to go double back to Tour Bus,
Mm-hmm.
there's a line on there too where you're describing some traumatic experiences in your life, and then you reference to you know, the senses, you know, listening and smelling. You
Yeah,
make a reference to, you know, you could smell it, you could still smell it if you listen close enough,
right.
right? And this is a deep one for me, because, you know, oftentimes in life we'll be somewhere and we'll hear a song and it brings us directly back, and we know that our smell, you know what I'm saying, is directly linked to those thoughts and those memories formed together.
Yeah.
What are some songs from your life that instantly take you back to places? Anytime you're out somewhere or you hear them, they automatically, you know, you're like right back in the environment.
There's a song called "Silly" by Denise Williams. And you know, my father's been gone 2 years, 3 years, this June. Um,
God bless, brother.
yeah, it's my guy. But he was very much he was, the ladies loved him, and
Right.
I could, you know, I could tell if there was some shit going on with him and my mom by coming home and what music was playing. And there's this one particular record, and I'm talking pre first grade. Like I don't think I was in first grade yet. And there was this record by Denise Williams called "Silly," and she would have, you know, you could smell the weed in the house, you could smell the incense, and you know, if I close my eyes, I could see her right now sitting in the living room with just like a candle lit, and you know, we would just sit and we would read the album covers. But that's one of the records that kind of brings me right back to that living room on Sherman Street. You know, I could Stephanie Mills, "I Feel Good All Over." That was another record that brings me right back to 6H and the Projects. It's a lot of different records that kind of like do it for me. A lot of it being R&B, or because that was what my mom was into. Um, there's some jazz records that I heard in passing because that was my dad's shit. That kind of like recently, and I would say in the past year, I got back into listening to more jazz, and it kind of brings me back. to the shit that he was on, and driving around in the car with him when he used to do his 1-2. So it's a lot, like music is that thing, and it does bring you back to like what you were eating that day, what it smelled like, so it's yeah, that shit is real. But Denise Williams is definitely one that pops into my head automatically. Or I was at my cousin Khalil's daughter. He was killed a few years ago. He was murdered actually a few years ago, and
Sorry to hear that, brother.
thank you. And his daughter just got married, and they played a KC and JoJo record, and like he loved KC. And so it brought me right back to us being at my grandmother's, in her living room in the projects in apartment 6C. And I'm looking at him sing this fucking KC record. And it's just like, yeah, like, so those things are tied to memory. And it's like, I try to create that, like if you hear this, yeah, I try to create. And one of my things, like, cause I look at like an artist such as yourself, who, and maybe we'll talk off air. Cause I got some, it's, like, I know part of your story, and your approach to the music is like the embodiment of your story, but you don't necessarily paint the picture that way. But if you
Right.
know your story, it is absolutely 100% like, you understand what I'm trying to say?
No
Like
doubt.
you don't lay it out like this, but if you know part of the story, yes, absolutely. So that
You
aggression,
can
that
see it
energy,
clearly. No doubt.
absolutely, that razor sharp mind and the precision in which you lay your bars, and the attention to detail, it's amazing to me, because it's like
Thank you,
you
brother. I appreciate that.
no, sir, because it's not a lot of people I listen to, and there's not a lot of people, there's a lot of people rapping now, you know what I mean, and there's
Absolutely.
and it's I'm a fan of technique, I'm a fan of approach, and it's like for you to come from where you come from and how you came up, and the things that like people would necessarily, like, part of your story people would glorify, because that's kind of, what I mean, in fad right now.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of just giving it to you direct, the way that you kind of, yeah, I'm a fan of that. I'm definitely a
I
fan.
appreciate that, brother. That means a great deal to me, man, because
Yeah,
I'm absolutely a fan of you, brother, and
thank you,
all of your work.
thank you.
Indeed, man. Indeed. Now, yo, damn, that was a lot right there, man. That was I'm horrible at taking compliments, brother.
We
Yo,
all are. That's yeah, that's us. Yeah,
oh man. But yo, this I wanted to ask you a two-parted question. The trust movement, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You had a colleague and a friend who unfortunately passed away recently in Fred the Godson,
Mm-hmm.
a very special MC, somebody who, I felt like transcended two worlds, two different sections of hip hop at the same time. He was able to occupy two spaces at once, and it's something I always noticed about him, and he had the skill to display that on both in both those ways. What are some of the things that you learned being around Fred?
Yeah, he's funny as hell. Rest in peace, Fred
No
the
doubt.
Godson. So let's go back to 2009. So one of the people that was running around, or Kenny's really good friends with, is DJ Clark Kent. So Clark and I are like, we meet at a sneaker event, right? Before we even start talking music, me and Clark we talking about sneakers, right? So we talking like for about a year about sneakers. I think at this time I'm inquiring Clark if he would be interested in coming back into doing management and stuff like that. And he was like, "Yo, I want you to hear somebody." And he sent me this record that he had produced. It was Fred the Godson. I forget the other kid's name. He was dope too. I think Matthew Ragazzino might have been on the song
Shout
also.
out to Matthew.
Salute to Math. And he's like, "Yo, my man Fred, listen to him." And I'm like, "Okay." And so that was like my first introduction to Fred. So we fast forward, we moving around. I'm seeing Fred, and I come to the crib one day, and we're recording. I think we're doing like one of the Trust Army albums or some shit like that. And so Fred is there, and so I record something, and I remember coming out of the booth, and Special was like, "Yo, who's your top five MCs, man?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. It varies from time to from whoever." And I say a couple names, whatever the case, and I mentioned Nas, and he's like, "I can hear that. I can hear that." And I was like, "All right, cool." And then we go into this other room, and then we just start talking about our top five MCs. And Fred is we cracking joke, like he's like, nah, you like who? I don't even listen to such and such. Da, da, da. And I'm like, yo, who's your top five? And he's and one of the names that he mentions is Eminem. And I'm like, Fred, you drive around listening to Eminem? Like like between me and you drive around listening to Eminem? And he's like, I don't drive around listening to him, but something nice, yo, something nice. And I was like, yo, and from there, like we fucking hit it off. Like Fred,
No
salute the
doubt.
Reef Hustle. That was a crazy night, and we was just cool. Like Fred funny as hell. Fred was funny as hell, and nice, like cool dude, like super humble. We had went down to I think Philly. I think we went down to Philly. We had did a show with Benny the Butcher. Spesh came out. They did Sunday School. They brought out Fred, and we was just all down there like chilling. Like Fred is, yeah, Fred, and I'm saying is, because the energy never dies. But Fred was
No doubt.
definitely super cool, super cool dude. And I just like, just funny. He was just funny. He was just funny.
And dumb nice, man.
That's it.
Dumb,
Yeah, I mean
dumb,
that
dumb
goes without
nice,
saying.
and super witty. He had a certain brand of wit that was it was sneaky, man. You know what I mean? Like the part of the ball, you know what I mean? That was the old shit part came out of nowhere oftentimes, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And that was something that all MCs need to learn how to capture, man, is the art of surprise and being slick enough to not, make it so apparent what you're doing. And Fred was ill at that, man.
yeah,
Indeed. Rest in peace to Fred the Godson, man. Thank you for
yeah.
that, Rashid.
Absolutely, yeah.
Indeed, man. Yo, I usually end these off with not a question, something to leave the people with. But before I do that, is there anything that you would like to just speak about or leave the people with, let them know, you know what I mean? Something coming up, anything at all?
To all of, I mean, I'm always working, so I just I got a project that I just finished mixing. Oh, actually, tomorrow is a last mixing day for this project that I got coming. To anybody that's an artist or creative in any way, man, just find your voice, man. Just like don't listen to the noise outside. Don't try to, follow the beaten path. Fuck it. Go up the rough side of the mountain. You know what I mean? Like it is a journey. It is a process. It's where you find yourself is where you lose yourself, and just enjoy the process, man. Just enjoy the journey. Like this shit is anybody who tells you that they got it figured out, they lying and they selling something. Don't believe them. No, everybody's road there is different, and just love it. Like find like fall in love with the process of whatever it is that you're doing, and that's where the sweet sauce is right there. But like I'm just somebody who in the past year or two has really got a better understanding of life, and I'm loving it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing this new shit I got coming. Salute to my co-op crew, David Bars, Passport Gift, Parks, my man Lou, everybody in Trust, Project City, always. And to artists such as yourself who are true to the art, to the culture, who hasn't given up on lyricism. And I would definitely be remiss to say that fucking 200 with you and Nin.
Ah,
No, seriously,
thank
I
you.
think I said it when it came out, but I'll say it again. Is in the last maybe 10 years, one of the best records any genre to drop in the last 10
Wow.
years. Yeah,
I
absolutely,
appreciate that greatly, brother.
absolutely fucking incredible. Incredible
Thank you.
record.
Thank you,
Incredible
Rashid.
record. Like for real.
Thank you. Yo, Rashid, thank you for the jewelry, man. I appreciate this whole thing greatly. Bro, you one of the wisest, most intelligent articulative, you know what I'm saying, and also authentic people in this arena, man, in this whole space, brother. And that is one of the reasons I've been a fan from the very beginning. It goes beyond the music, you know what I mean? You have a respect about you, you respect yourself, respect for the craft, and that makes me respect you immensely, brother. Thank
Appreciate
you for taking the time, Rod, and
you.
let's continue to build, brother.
Of course, yeah. So we overdue. We overdue.
Indeed, indeed,
All right.
indeed.
Salute.
Peace.
They alike apex predators. We prey alike on the frail and the weak, the lamb and the sheep, the mosque or the day room, yard or the street. The rules of survival, the goons of blindfold. My grandmother's Bible, balloons are high.